This is WAAY 31 Law Call.
Good evening and welcome to WAAY 31 Law Call. Tonight it's Meet the Judge night. We always enjoy Meet the Judge night because you get to ask questions. What's it like to be a judge? TV shows and movies are always filled with crimes and dramas in the courtroom, and at the center of all that is the judge. Tonight we've got the Municipal Court Chief Judge for Huntsville, Judge Lonzo Robinson. Municipal Court deals with everything from traffic tickets, all kinds of criminal misdemeanors, but also violations of city ordinances. This is the court you're most likely to find yourself in, probably. So tonight's your chance to ask questions, ask what it's like to be a judge, all the things you've always wanted to know. The 31 Law Call number, 256-536-0077. You can also email a question. You can email a question anytime, any day of the week. You send it to lawcall@waytv.com, and when we get to a show on point, we'll pull some out. We've got some email questions tonight. Getting us started tonight, before we get into Meet the Judge, we've got tonight's You Be the Judge. We've got some video off of YouTube, and we've got Will Leak here to take a look at it and tell us what you think of it.
Right.
How are you?
Hey, good. You doing all right tonight?
Doing well.
Well, we got a special guest in municipal court. You know, what is municipal court? DUIs, domestic violence, speeding tickets, you didn't mow your yard, the housing authority, all kinds of stuff, but it's limited to misdemeanors and things like that. We're going to talk about that. But we got kind of a crazy video that you showed me right before we came on.
Check this out. So this is thanks to YouTube. It's on an elevator. These guys goofing off. Bozos goofing off.
Let me punch the mirror. That's good.
Of course, the mirror comes down. So do they set it outside? No. They stick it back up there for the next guy that comes in. Watch what happens. Oh, okay. He was not gravely hurt, but you know, we're looking at this and we're thinking, what kind of lawsuits might we see?
So they look young, but if you're over 14, you can be, there's a presumption that you know what you're doing. You can be negligent. If you're below, I think it's 8 years old, it's a presumption against. But these clowns look a little bit older than that. So destruction of property, criminal mischief on the criminal side, but on the civil side, this next guy comes in and this mirror falls on him. So not only were the kids negligent in punching the window, or the mirror, it comes down, but then they prop it back up, poorly. And so that could be not only negligent conduct, but wanton conduct, because they kind of prop it up knowing it's going to fall again. And
Thank goodness it just fell like it wasn't. It doesn't look like he was hurt, but if this had been glass or something, this really could have been bad.
Glass, it breaks, people get cut. We've had crazy cases like that.
Yeah.
So they're liable criminally for damaged property and civilly against that person who was injured. Now, insurance company, their kids, do they have anything? If they didn't mean to, if it's an accident, their homeowner's insurance, even with their parents, would cover that for any civil lawsuit. Now, criminally, intentional conduct won't be covered under your homeowner's insurance policy, but they would be covered for that, the civil side. But the criminal, they would talk with someone like our special guest, Lonzo Robinson.
Let's see what he thinks about it.
Presiding municipal court judge in Huntsville. Lonzo, thank you for staying up with us. You handle all kinds of actions. You've been a municipal court judge for over 5 years now. Now, what kind of cases do you guys deal with, Lonzo? DUIs, assaults, what do you see mostly?
Well, we see a little bit of everything. I see assaults, I see DUIs, I see all types of cases. Assaults, DUIs, traffic offenses, you name it. Any misdemeanor or any city ordinance violation that occurs within the city limits of Huntsville is usually going to come through us.
Now, do you see anything in that video that you think that comes to my courtroom all the time?
Well, one of the things you may see is the criminal mischief, the action of those kids when they were initially hitting the mirrors. That would definitely be a criminal mischief, and there may be some criminal action that may be afforded to those guys.
Now, over in municipal court, it's limited to misdemeanors, which is up to a year and a fine. What all comes under that, Judge?
When you say under, I'm assuming you mean what types of cases?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so anything that is not a felony is going to come to us. And the usual things we're going to see a lot of DUIs. We're going to see a lot of domestic violences. We're going to see a lot of criminal mischiefs, assaults, and then we get a lot of more ordinance violation type things. The not cutting your grass, having a structure that's not maintained properly, not getting your dogs treated or neutered. All those type of things come to us.
Okay.
What's a trial like? So if somebody gets charged with something, they bring it to your courtroom. What is a trial like at municipal court?
So it's just like any other case. Usually you're going to have a prosecutor and you're going to have a defense attorney. I'm sitting in the middle, and I'm the trier of fact. I'll determine what's the truth and what's not the truth. The prosecutor puts on their case, and the defense attorney puts on their case, and then we issue a judgment. We say guilty, not guilty, and we determine the appropriate punishment.
So no jury in municipal court, correct?
No jury.
Okay,
No
and
jury.
so in your sentence, it's, you know, we had someone called in about sentencing guidelines, and for example, DUIs. If you get over a certain amount, those could be a felony. So if someone's charged with a DUI, and let's say it's their 5th or 6th one that potentially could be a felony, does that go to the county, or how does that work?
It does. So each DUI, the punishment gets progressively worse. So you got your first offense DUI, and it may be X punishment. You know, the normal fine is $600. You may get probation. The second offense is going to be $1,200 is the normal fine, and it goes up higher. Well, after the third offense, that's usually considered to be a felony DUI. And those are taken to the county as opposed to the city. The felony DUIs, you get punishment up to 10 years. It's steeper punishment, it's a bigger fine, and of course you automatically get a jury trial there as opposed to a bench trial like the misdemeanors.
And with regard to the numerosity of DUIs, now let's say this, you know, Huntsville, North Alabama, a lot of engineers, a lot of defense industry, security clearance and things like that. Do you see a higher level
You're betting they fight hard, aren't you?
intense
Yeah.
when you're talking about someone who, if they're convicted, might lose security clearance and things? That's the first question, Judge. And the second, what if someone, let's say someone got unlucky, they made a mistake, it wasn't a habitual DUI, but they blew over the legal limit. Is it automatic, or is there diversion, or what's available for your first-time offender?
Well, one of the things we're really proud of is our diversion program. Most cities or state courts are going to have some type of diversion program. I think we've got a really good program, a really robust program. And so what we'll do is we'll take first-time offenders, someone who does not have a criminal history, someone who does not have a prior DUI. And what we do is we try to get them treatment. We'll try to get them treatment so that it will affect whether or not they commit that offense in the future. But bear in mind, it's not just DUIs that we have diversion for. Almost any offense you have there, whether it's DUI, assault, theft, we have a really good theft diversion. But it can even be something as small as the criminal mischief or anything. We will find some type of a class that is going to be more rehabilitative as opposed to punishment. We'll find something so that we can look at that and think, okay, we're going to make this person a better person for society. They will have the tools so that they won't commit this offense again in the future.
And it won't have a bad record either.
Right. So
for
if they
jobs.
can complete those classes, that charge either be dropped or dismissed, doesn't go on their record, won't wreck their security clearance and things like that, depending on what their record is.
Exactly, that's what happens. They get, once they complete the diversion program, the pretrial diversion program, the charge is dismissed. And what we see a lot of is people taking those and they take the dismissal and they can get it expunged. So even the arrest won't show up on their record, because normally, even with a dismissal, the arrest is still there. You can search and you can see, hey, this person was arrested for DUI, for assault, for theft, for whatever. But they can get that, they can hire an attorney or try to do it on their own, and they can get it expunged, and then it's completely off their record.
We've got callers waiting. We've got Frank on the line with a question from Scottsboro. Hi, Frank, thanks for calling. What's your question tonight?
Hello, I was videoed or photographed at a local restaurant
Okay.
after work, and I had was eating a meal and drinking a beer, and was videoed and photographed, and these pictures were sent to my boss, and he called me in the next day and kind of called me on the carpet for doing that.
Hey,
and
let me ask you this: was it the restaurant? Was it the restaurant cameras that videoed you, or was it another patron?
No, it was an individual.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
And you didn't get
99.9% sure it was a coworker that did this.
And they're trying to rat you out.
And you had no criminal charge for it. They're just trying to mess
No.
with your work.
Well,
Right.
so there's a couple different things, but you know, you're in a public place, you're allowed to be there, you're over 21, you're having a beer, whatever you're having, that's all right. Now, for a coworker or anybody else to video you, that you're in a public space, so you can be videoed. You don't have a Fourth Amendment right to privacy in that particular instance. Let's say they disseminated information to your employer and it was wrong, so that could be slander. If they wrote them a letter or email, slander, libelous conduct that harmed you in some way. So if if it didn't harm you in any way, you got no claim. If it was truth, you were there, and let's say your boss just freaks out because you're there having a beer. Alabama's what's called an at-will employee state, which means you can be hired or fired for any reason or no reason. And if boss doesn't like that you're at a bar having a beer, he or she can let you go. It's crazy, but they can, because unless you have an employment contract. And against the person videoing you, unless you have an expectation of a right to privacy, there's no claim to them unless they disseminated untruth information about you and harmed you in some way. Did the boss man say anything?
He just, questioned me about it, and I admitted to it and told him, yes, I had a beer and was eating, and that was about it, and said, he had pictures on his phone of me at the restaurant, having a beer. And,
well, what did he say? Hey, I got these pictures. Shows you in there having a beer. How do you explain yourself? I don't understand. What's the problem?
Well, I don't either. And I just wondered, was it legal for an individual to take your photograph without your knowledge?
It's interesting.
Judge, if you're in a public place, yeah, but what can they do with that photograph? Can they try and make money on it, you think?
Well, I'm with you, Will. I think that you can pretty much videotape people in most places. That's how you get TikTok. That's how you get Instagram. Those people do it all the time. I don't think there's any action, whether it be criminal or civil, that can be taken for someone taking a video of you. And the video is going to speak for itself, so you can't say that it's libelous or it's untrue, because what's in the video is going to be what's in the video.
Okay, they're telling us to take a break. We're going to take a break, be right back answering more questions. It's Meet the Judge night, so call in the 31 Law Call number 536-0077.
You're watching WAAY 31 Law Call, where lawyers come to help. Your rights, your calls, live. Hosted by family law attorney Sharon Doviet. With the personal injury attorneys of one of the Valley's most respected law firms, Timberlake and League. Featuring the knowledge of managing partner Michael Timberlake, with millions of dollars awarded to his clients. And the experience of attorney Will League, a strong courtroom fighter known for his commitment to winning. And the fellow partners of Timberlake and League, Heath Brooks and William Meservey. This is WAAY 31 Law Call.
Welcome back to 31 Law Call. I'm Sharon Doviet. Tonight it's Meet the Judge night. We start off, Will League is here from Timberlake and League. You're not the judge.
Nope.
Would you like to be a judge?
Judges, you got so many sides wanting to know where you are and need you to make decisions, and you got so many cases. I work on my caseload. You work on your caseload. The judge works on everybody's caseload.
Everybody.
So I can make you a substitute judge if you want.
There you go.
We have substitute judges, so that once we're out, if we're sick, we got some to come in. So maybe you can come sit on the bench and wear a nice black robe.
That would be an experience.
Judge Lonzo Robinson has been the chief judge for Huntsville Municipal Court for 5 years. He's also been, though, a prosecutor. Before that, he was also in between there. I lose track of which started first. He was also just a lawyer, defense lawyer, and did a great job with that. So it's always fun to see a good lawyer become a good judge.
Judge, we started around the same time, and been in city court. Usually, I tell people I don't know criminal work, but for family or friends, someone says about me, but you always got a buddy or somebody who needs help. And as a younger lawyer, we were both on the appointed list, and we would defend indigent cases, and you learn that way. And when you get into these cases, and you're not appointed, and you're doing this for a living, you have so many. I see. I'll go in there and I'll have 1 or 2 cases. And some of these defense lawyers have 10, 12.
Yeah.
The A will have 30 and 40 on a docket.
Yeah.
Are you guys, Judge, are y'all just backed up? Is it, I mean, it seems like it runs very smooth versus other city municipalities I've been in.
So let's make sure we draw a distinction first between like the state courts and the city courts. So mine's going to be the city court, and we're not going to have as many appointed. We actually have a contract system at the municipal court. We have a group that we pay X amount of money per month, and they come in and they handle all those cases. I will say in the state cases, yes, you have a huge caseload, and part of what makes it exciting for you as a defense attorney is learning how to handle all those things and making sure you're prepared and you can give the best possible defense. Now, going over to municipal court, we have a huge load too, but we have a nice pairing of both appointed and retained attorneys who come in. And the prosecution office is constantly hiring new people, so that although there may be a high caseload, it's not so much that it can't be maintained.
Right.
And we got 3 judges over there, you, and then we've also got Judge Sybil Cleveland and Judge Jeff Grimes.
That is right. Judge Grimes and I, we took office the same time about 5 years ago or so. And Judge Cleveland is a senior judge. She's been there a little bit longer than Jeff and I.
We've got callers waiting. Eden has been waiting for a while. Eden, thanks for calling. What's your question?
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering, how long would it take for something to get expunged?
How long does expungement take?
From your record, Judge,
Yeah,
what do you
good
say?
question.
Yes,
The
I never had a record before my first.
What kind of
charge?
What kind of case was it, Eden? She may have left us already. Judge, how long does it usually take to get something expunged?
And what's available to be expunged?
Okay, first of all, as far as the amount of time, it's really going to depend on the case itself, because the process is you're going to get a case, if you get a case dismissed, and now there have been some changes in the law, and some minor cases, initially it was the case had to be dismissed, but now some minor cases you can still get expunged, minor non-violent convictions. So what you're going to need to do is hire an attorney. That attorney, though, has a lot of groundwork to do. He's got to get certified copies of the dismissal. He has to go through the state of Alabama and ALEA, and he has to get copies of your criminal record to show that you don't have further things on your record. He has to send a packet to the judge, to the arresting agency. So the amount of time is going to depend, number one, on how much you can pay, how busy your attorney is, how long it's going to take to get each one of those things. But generally speaking, it should only take a month or two.
Do you have
to
any?
get that done.
Do you have any input to say yes or no on that as a judge? Judge, have any say so?
They will come by my desk, but I've never tried to put in one way or another for
Gotcha.
that.
If the paperwork's in order, and they qualify, then they're due for expulsion.
Yes, and so it goes.
Expulsion,
expungement.
Judge Bill Page does all the ones in Madison County, and I will absolutely trust Judge Page to do what is correct, and I will never second guess Bill Page.
That's right.
Got that right.
That's right.
We've got Howie on the line with a question from Huntsville. Hi, Howie. Thanks for calling. What's your question tonight?
Yeah, I have never seen or heard of any official from a bank, mortgage company, or finance company having to appear in municipal court in Huntsville for their property violating city ordinances. Is that because the municipal court doesn't have jurisdiction of them, or they just above the law?
Interesting. Banks or things like that. What kind of cases are you thinking that they would be charged with, Howie? Like,
well, simple, not cutting the grass, or if their property doesn't meet code, they haven't painted some wood or something.
okay.
Well, I actually defended a buddy of mine who they had loud music. There was complaints. City comes out, gives them a ticket. They go down to municipal court, and we had to prove what was decibel level, what was appropriate, and that sort of thing. So that was an example. But Judge, do you see a lot of banks or are they taking care of their stuff?
Well, we don't see a lot of them, but it does happen, and I appreciate Howard's question. But I will say, Judge Grimes does all of those. Those are specifically in Judge Grimes. But I do know that we have those. Many times, what'll happen is that the bank or the realty company or whoever owns it, whoever the owner is, they will send a representative there. But those people, by and large, do try and take care of it, and they'll get those things done. But yes, we put cases against the cases are put against the owner of the property. So if that's a bank, if that's a realty company, no matter whom it is, we're gonna bring that charge forward.
We've got Rich on the line with a question from Gurley. Hi, Rich. Thanks for calling. What's your
Hello.
question tonight?
Yeah, I want to ask the judge a question.
Okay.
I've got some property that I bought here in Maysville about almost 4 years ago. There was a fence right behind where I had a shop built. Okay, it's been there for, I heard, about 40, 50 years. Well, a lady next door inherited the property behind the fence and on the side of me. So to keep peace, I put a fence on the side of me, but the old fence behind me has been there for like 40 or 50 years, and me and her don't get along too good.
Okay.
And I wanted to know about the fence that's been there for 40 years. Is that property on my side, or where the fence is that property on her side? Now, we had it surveyed, and they put some kind of shell that was in the ground for years. She put a post right on top of it and left the opening behind my shop, and I didn't want nobody going back there.
Rich, let me interrupt because we're running out of time to get an answer right quick.
All
What
right,
do you think?
so boundary dispute. The fence is there. Your property still could be on the other side of that fence. A survey would dictate, but you want to go and get an architect or somebody to go out there. You want to do your survey, have them do one, and then y'all will find out where the markers are, determine whose land it actually is. The fence could be substantial. Now, Lonzo and I are going back to law school to this, but let's say they maintain the property openly. Let's say across the fence is your property, but they may openly maintain it, pay taxes on it, adverse possession. It could end up being their land. I think it's 20 years or more, but I got to go back and go back to law school, Lonzo. What are your thoughts?
Well, that was my recollection. It was 20 years, but you really can't hold me on that. It's been so long. It's been more than 20 years since I've been in law school. But I would say you're really going to have to get someone to look at the property and give you a definite answer on that.
Okay, we're going to take a break. Be right back answering more of your questions on Meet the Judge Night. Stay with us. If you didn't get your questions answered tonight, here's how to get in touch with the Honorable Judge Lonzo Robinson. He is the presiding judge for the City of Huntsville Municipal Court. You can also check out www.huntsvilleal.gov for more information. Here's how to get in touch with Will Leake. He is a personal injury attorney with Timberlake & Leake. So that's automobile accidents, that's nursing home negligence, 256-536-0770 or 800-804-2502. The website is law-injury.com. And if you like them on Facebook, you can learn more about the law that way, and they will be on tomorrow's midday news answering questions.
And family law attorney Sharon Doviat, domestic disputes, divorce, child custody, 539-7337, SharonFamilyLaw.com.
And we've only got 15 seconds, but Judge, tomorrow you've got compliance docket. You trying to lock everybody up or let folks go home?
What is that?
No, that's really one of the things we're trying to let people go. It's twofold. One, trying to help people get the driver's licenses back that are suspended, and two, help people figure out ways to pay their fines and costs. And if they can't, if they're financially unable, we come up with alternatives, whether it is community service or something else.
Interesting stuff.
Thanks
Good
for
luck.
all your questions
Thanks for coming up,
tonight,
Judge.
everybody.